have only 3 days to try and remake this entire website, which belongs to a client of mine, and I have no coding experience. I mean zero. I've barely coded before. But to explain, a few weeks ago, I made this website for someone who sells gadgets and whatnot. Okay, actually, made it is a bit of a stretch. I vibe coded it, as the kids call it these days. I used the Claude AI and ChatGPT, but the one that made it all possible was one I discovered called T3. It directly edits your code files, so you don't have to keep copying and pasting code from another AI. So this made coding very easy, but websites work in a very special way. So imagine you want to build a lemonade stand, but you don't want to buy the tables, cups, cash register, or the safe. So companies like Google say, we'll give you everything you need, all the cups, the cash register, and we'll keep everything running 24/7. So all you do is just pay Google to keep all that running, and you never really touch the equipment. So they do this by a service called Firebase. So with a client's website, I built it from scratch using Firebase. But then I discovered a problem. I could not continue using it because they kept denying my credit card. Now I have 3 days to completely overhaul the whole website and remove Firebase and change it into another service. This is why I found Pocketbase. It's funny because they all have base in their names. So Pocketbase. Oh, I think I got a bit distracted there. Is like someone giving you the instructions on how to build your own table, cups, cash register, and safe. But you have to find a way to keep your shop or website, in this case, open 24/7. Google already did this with Firebase. It was baked into the service plan, but I didn't have a way yet. So the first thing I did was to tell ChatGPT what my migration plan was. I then asked it for the appropriate way to change the website structure. This is the response it gave me, and all I had to do was paste it into T3. It was simple. Step 1, step 2, step 3. It felt good, it felt organized. I felt like a real developer. But here's the thing about plans. They always look very clean on paper, but reality is a whole different story. See, the shop owner did not need like a whole warehouse system. They needed something more like a digital catalog of sorts. Like imagine you have a friend who sells phones. They don't need a whole spreadsheet tracking every single color of every single phone. They just need nice pictures, a price, and a way for customers to say, hey, I want this phone. That's it. So the first thing I had to do was not even the Firebase problem, overthinking the whole thing. So I stripped it all back. The inventory just became normal, not stock units, just colors. Like storage options stayed because storage changed price, but that was it. Simple, clean, the way it should have been from the beginning. But now back to Pocketbase. Remember how I said Pocketbase is like getting instructions to build your own tables and cups? Well, you still need somewhere to put the table. You can't just build a lemonade stand in your living room and expect customers to find it. So this is where things got confusing, like genuinely confusing even for me. I had Pocketbase running on my laptop, and the website was also running on my laptop. So everything looked perfect on screen. I was happy and I thought I was done. But then I tried to open the website on my phone and nothing. I even tried another person's computer, nothing. Initially, the website was deployed on something called Vercel. Vercel is basically like a service that puts your website on the actual internet. Vercel could not talk to my Pocketbase either, like at all. Just kept saying error. And so I realized this is because Pocketbase was living on something called 127.0.0.1. Whenever I start the Pocketbase server, that's the IP address I get. It sounds technical, but it basically means like this specific laptop right here, right now, is where you live. So it's like giving someone directions to your house, but the directions only work if they're standing inside your house. It makes no sense to anyone outside. So Firebase never had this problem because, as I said, it lives on Google servers, and Google servers are always on and they are always reachable from anywhere in the world. That's what you're paying for when you use Firebase. Pocketbase on a laptop is only reachable from that laptop. So now I had a new problem, and for a moment I genuinely considered giving up on Firebase completely and switching to something called Supabase. Like, yeah, it also has base in the name. I don't know why they all do that. It's weird. But Supabase is more like Firebase. Someone else runs the servers and you just use it. It's easy. Oh, but then I remembered I had something else, something called a VPS, which means a virtual private server. It's like renting a tiny computer somewhere in the world, and it's always on and always connected to the internet. You don't see it, you don't touch it, but it exists, running quietly 24/7. It's like leaving your lemonade stand in a shopping mall instead of your living room. So I knew like later I would put the website on there. So problem solved. So now came the actual migration, moving everything from Firebase into Pocketbase. And I want you to picture this like moving houses. You have boxes of stuff. Some boxes are labeled clearly, some are just labeled miscellaneous, and you have no idea what's inside. You have to open every single one. Because imagine this is a website. Every single piece of code has to be migrated. So we moved the product photos, the brand logos, the category images, promo banners, all of which went into Pocketbase. Some products already somehow gotten their photos into Pocketbase during doing earlier tests. Thank you, T3. It was a really nice surprise. It's like finding some boxes already unpacked when you arrive at your new house. But not everything was smooth. At one point, I tried adding a product called Starlink, and the system told me duplicate SKU. This is just a fancy way of saying this product already exists, but it did not already exist. I had just created it. Turns out there was a bug where the system was looking at its own internal ID and saying, wait, this matches the one I just made. That must be a duplicate. It was arguing with itself. We fixed that. I think those are just the problems you encounter in your vibe coding, but yeah, you can just get over them easily. Then the dashboard kept showing all fake test data instead of real stock activity, because when you update a product stock, the system was updating the number but not writing down that it changed. It's like when you adjust your bank balance but you didn't record the transaction. So I fixed that too. And login. Oh my gosh, login. You would press the sign in button and the page would just refresh. It's like nothing has happened. The login was working behind the scenes, but the website did not know it had worked. It's like unlocking a door. The door opens, but you just stand there because nobody told you that the door was open. So we fixed it so after login, it actively pushes you through the door. So by the end of it all, the website was running. Products were loading from Pocketbase, admin was working, images were showing, and stock was tracking. And every product had a WhatsApp inquiry button. So it came from a complicated Firebase warehouse system to a clean digital showroom. The lemonade stand was no longer in my living room. It was in the mall, open, ready, and honestly, better than it had ever been. Sometimes the best version of something is not the most complicated one. It's just the one that actually works. So yeah, that was my experience with this whole thing. If you like the video, please do the necessary like, subscribe, all that. Oh, and I also have one more thing to tell you guys.
Hey, you want to see something cool?